Eagles football is finally back, with the first day of training camp practices showcasing Kellen Moore's new look offense that Jalen Hurts reportedly ran to perfection. Plus, the Eagles suffered their first injury of 2024, but replacing Cooper DeJean might be easier than you think. Also, Nakobe Dean seemed hungry to compete today. One Eagle offensive lineman throws up during practice, and Nick Sirianni squashes the beef with Jalen Hurts. I'm Thomas Mott. This is The Thomas Mott Show. Training camp day one, it's officially here, and honestly, the players seemed even more excited than us, the fans, to take the football field after a very long offseason. I mean, just look at the smile right there on Jalen Hurts' face. Now, the morning itself started out with Nick Sirianni and Howie Roseman speaking to the media, which naturally I'll start with here in just 1 second. First, though, a fresh update on the overnight situation with Eagles' second-round draft pick Cooper DeJean. Missed the report. ESPN's Jeremy Fowler confirmed late last night DeJean will begin camp on the NFI list, will be sidelined for at least 3 weeks with a hamstring injury suffered when he was caught in an awkward position during offseason training, per league source. It's unrelated to any prior injury. The Eagles are confident in a quick recovery, and he will be able to contribute as expected this season. Now, right away, this is a bad start for both the Birds and the former Iowa DB. DeJean's big knock coming out of the draft was his injury history, and suffering a hamstring injury that's going to keep him away for valuable practice reps is pretty tough to swallow. Plus, we don't know exactly how or when this happened. Suffered during the offseason training could have been months ago, which would indicate it's an even more serious hamstring injury than we would like. 3 weeks from today puts his return somewhere around the first preseason game on August 9th. My guess, though, is that he misses that game because he won't have practiced really at all, and will try to make probably the second preseason matchup versus the Patriots as his debut. Either way, the head coach and GM, they at least seem somewhat confident that DeJean will be fine during their morning pressure today.
Well, obviously it sets him back, right, to, not be out here the first 3 weeks, but we were excited about him when we drafted him. We were excited about the things that he did during OTAs and the offseason work, and we're still excited about him. He's going to have to take his mental. He's going to have to get a lot of mental reps these next couple weeks that he'll be out rehabbing that injury.
I would just say that also, we're bummed. That's our second-round pick. We want to see him out here on the first day, but we also think that this guy's going to be with us for a long time, and so we have tremendous confidence in his ability to pick things up and to come back and kind of keep running. And obviously it's a long season, and we're counting on him.
Now, DeJean was probably going to get his first look at nickel, so that means his absence will benefit other players battling for the same spot, including Avonte Maddox, who was your starting nickel corner to begin camp today, and of course, friend of the show, Zach McPherson, whose chance to make the final roster might really depend on if he can actually dominate and play well at the nickel spot. Either way, it is a bummer we're not going to see the Eagles' second-round draft pick out there for any training camp practices the next 3 weeks. Still, though, hopefully it's the only injury that happens for Philadelphia. Knock on wood and drop a thumbs up right now to wish the Eagles a healthy training camp. Now, some other minor injury news this morning included Landon Dickerson not practicing. You see him standing there on the sideline for today. We found out it was due to a toe laceration. It's considered day-to-day, not a big deal. Maybe it was that slip and slide he built in his backyard. I don't know. And also, of course, Cindy Brown officially placed on the PUP list. No surprise there, but it was made official by the Birds. Oh, and another kind of injury news, James Bradberry, if you're wondering, he was at practice today and did seem totally fine. He was even mentioned by Sirianni and Roseman during their morning presser as someone who needs to be versatile at both corner and safety to go ahead and, I guess, make the roster and not be traded. More to come on him in a second. Now, speaking of Sirianni and Roseman's presser, there wasn't a ton of meat. I mean, not going to give away all the Eagles' secrets during their first press conference. The spark notes of a lot of this was Howie and Nick both mentioning the linebacker spot as one to watch in terms of the open battle during camp. They also both mentioned wide receiver 3 as a very exciting battle, and they think they have a lot of really good candidates there, but are unsure who's going to win that job. Nick did mention Nakobe Dean by name as someone who worked really hard this offseason to get 100% healthy and seems ready for a long, hard camp, asking when the Birds are going to put the pads on to Sirianni just this morning, which, by the way, we found out is going to be tomorrow. The Birds will put pads on tomorrow. It's going to get exciting very, very quick. Roseman was also asked about improving the roster, a question that comes up anytime Roseman has a microphone in front of his face, and honestly, it was just designed to see if he'd mentioned Justin Simmons or the safety spot by name. He didn't, but he gave a good answer nonetheless.
I don't think that I'm ever looking at it kind of in those terms. I feel really excited about the opportunity to evaluate these guys on a daily basis and see where we are as a team, see where we are as a roster. We're going to spend a lot of time making sure that we know every player that's on our 90-man, 91-man roster at this time, and be open to ideas about improving that roster. I think that when you get in a position in this league and you feel good about something, it's a very humbling league, and things happen. So, it's our opportunity to constantly have our eyes open about what we see. The beautiful thing, I said it to a coach this morning, the beautiful thing about it is everyone here is ours, so you're not playing favorites because you've brought everyone in here. At the same token, we have an obligation to put the best team forward, whether that's including the practice squad and the 53-man roster, and we'll never be content. That would be a disservice to our fans, to our players, to our coaches.
Still, all eyes were on Sirianni to see how he would respond to the inevitable question about Jalen Hurts and how's the relationship. And honestly, the sometimes shaky podium pontificator did a pretty good job handling this one, if I do say so myself.
Jalen and I's relationship is good. It's, again, you just can judge it based off of what your personal interactions are. And so when you hear a report like that, you don't put much stock into it because, quite frankly, not everybody sees that. So I'm so excited for him and I to get into our 4th year together. We've done some pretty special things, and I'm really excited for him. He's worked so hard at his game. I'm excited for him to be able to get back out here today and have a good practice today. And, just looking forward to continuing to work with him and continue to build on the special things that we've done.
Now, Hurts would also respond to the Sirianni comments that happened later on in the day. We'll get to practice first. Although if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, it's your best one-stop shop to everything happening at the Philadelphia Eagles over the course of training camp. We're approaching 56,000 subs. Hit that red button right now. Philly opened practice with, drills. You saw Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts running through ball security drills, watched closely by Nick Sirianni and new offensive coordinator Kellen Moore. Then we got a good look at Jalen Hurts throwing to both of his running backs. Special emphasis, of course, on Saquon Barkley. And how about a little option? What is this little pitch wrinkle added in with Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts? We saw nothing like this in last year's offense. This right here, it's day one of camp. Let's just stop you right there. Still, this right here gets me excited. Kellen Moore's fingerprints on the brand new offense was all over practice, with motion being heavily involved in day one, including 11-on-11s and 7-on-7s, according to Brandon Lee Gouton. And reportedly, multiple offensive plays during the team drills freed up both Dallas Goedert and Devontae Smith for big passing gains. And not only was the offense humming, the quarterback was humming as well. If you're worried about the Jalen Hurts OTA report saying he's throwing interceptions a lot, he looks a little bit rattled, today was not that day. You got a very sharp Jalen Hurts. The Birds QB1 finished 15 of 16 with a touchdown pass to Dallas Goedert in the back of the end zone and was on time, on target, and made nearly every single throw today, most importantly, without interception. And while again, it's only day one, the faster Jalen Hurts masters Kellen Moore's new offense, the quicker this offense will start to gel and flourish and be the dangerous weapon we hope it can be. Something Hurts did mention during his post-practice presser when asked about the new system.
Been 10 different play callers at some point over the past 8 years for me. And when you don't have that, it's kind of tough to learn how to talk to someone, how to communicate, how are they receptive, how are we growing to get to the same page. But I'm looking forward to that, and I've enjoyed that process with Coach Kellen. I've enjoyed every bit of it, just talking and how he sees the game. His trust in my judgment and my instincts is very important, and just going out there and playing.
Oh, and for those wondering exactly how Hurts would address the whole Sirianni elephant in the room, he was asked by a reporter, he shuts it down immediately and gives a really great response. Watch this.
That came out that your next relationship.
Let me say this first. You go through an off season. You put a lot of work in. I think all the things that we've been through last year, all the opportunity we had last year, I know everybody's hungry. Everybody's hungry. There's a ton of opportunity in front of us this year. And I'm excited to be back. Excited to go through this journey and go through this season with everyone here. From everyone. And I truly trust Mr. Lurie. I trust Howie. I trust Coach Sirianni to lead us in that right direction. And I know there are different roles in place. Everybody has different responsibilities. There may be more demands from some than others. But I think to win championships, to be the team we want to be, everyone has to buy into that role, and everyone has to, really be fully committed to doing their part and helping the team. And so I'm excited to go on that journey.
Now, in other practice news, Mekhi Becton, of course, started at left guard today for the lacerated toe injured Landon Dickerson we talked about earlier, and at one moment stopped and threw up almost 10 times, TMI. He did keep practicing. Clearly, the intensity for day one of Sirianni's training camp was definitely at a different level. Also notable was James Bradberry, who did, yes he did, run exclusively at safety with the second teamers and saw no cornerback reps through the first day. Now, I continue to think James Bradberry is just waiting to be moved. We've talked about this, an injury at cornerback somewhere else, he gets traded, but the whole safety move thing seems to be legit. That's where he was all day long. For what it's worth, Slay did throw support behind JB during his post-practice presser to at least try and convince us that Bradberry can be a good safety.
Yeah, great, man. He's JB one dude that could be very versatile. He's great at what he do. I know he's emergency if we need him at corner. He's emergency if we need him at safety. He played nickel last year a little bit, played dime. So JB is very good at being a versatile guy with a great ball skill. So he's going to be a great addition to anywhere he play at.
Now, of course, I said last week, the first couple of practices in terms of the depth chart won't really matter much. Who starts here, who starts there. It doesn't matter until you get pads on, but also further along in training camp. However, people want to know who started here, who played where. Here are the details. Isaiah Rodgers was the first starting cornerback opposite of Darius Slay, followed by Keely Ringo and Quinyon Mitchell as the two cornerbacks with the twos, although Ringo did get some first-team reps opposite of Slay in 7-on-7, so it looks like both cornerbacks eyeing for the second job were getting some first-team snaps. Likewise, linebackers were all over the place with a bunch of combination of reports showing it was Devin White and Nakobe Dean, it was Devin White and Zach Bond, it was Nakobe Dean and Zach Bond. They all got reps with the ones. It was a giant mix, and that's going to continue to be a massive battle to keep an eye on. Paris Campbell was your full-time wide receiver 3 and reportedly had a few very solid catches from Jalen Hurts during team drills. He had no competition for the wide receiver 3 spot. It seems like, as we've said, it's kind of his to lose. And finally, Covey, Ross, Anaya Smith, and Isaiah Rodgers were all back returning punts during a special teams drill, meaning that too is a wide-open competition. All in all, it was the first day, and sure, I can sit back here and say it's just day 1, don't read into it too much, but come on, I'm excited, you're excited. It's fun to have actual practices. OTAs are one thing, sure, they're out there and they're running through drills, but this is actual training camp practices, and there was a lot to glean from here, especially that pre-snap motion and how sharp Jalen Hurts was. Now, the pads go on tomorrow, meaning the intensity is going to be ratcheted up even more. I can't wait to see what happens with that, and of course, as I said before, we're going to cover it all here almost every single day. Every day they have practice, we're doing shows during the Thomas Mott Show. Hit that sub button, turn the notification bell as well. Also, we're doing our Wednesday Link Live tonight. Myself, Josh Davis, as we always do. We're going to break this down live, answer your questions. Football season is finally here. We're done with all the speculation on, could they trade for this player? What if they were to sign this player? It's cold hard facts from here on out. Hope you guys go ahead and join us tonight and join me for the rest of my shows running out this week. I'm Thomas Mott. Football is back. This has been the Thomas Mott Show.